Men can never understand why females can have male friends, but we tend to believe that we can have male friends. And the reason why we kind of think like this is because we would rather have a friend who secretly loves us than a female friend that secretly hates us.
There's no such thing as guy friends. You're not allowed to have a friend that's a guy. I don't care. I am your only friend. I am your only guy friend. And I'm all you need. Only way you're having a guy friend is if he looks at me and he wants to kiss me. If he thinks I'm attractive.
Having friends you can always count on is one of the best feelings in this world. You know you've got someone who always has your back. For many people, having a friend can mean different things. It could mean having a chat buddy, a confidant, or, for even others, a person of the opposite gender. This kind of friendship with the opposite gender has become far more common than just over a decade ago. A guy and a lady now even call themselves besties with no hesitation. Why? This is because all the restrictions and all those things that color such friendship have been put aside in the minds of many. But why do people choose to make friends with the opposite gender? Women have male friends as backup options. Is this true? In many cases, yes. Look at it from the POV of needing someone to fall back on when you, as a lady, have trouble with your girls. Ladies love to have male besties or friends because men tend to go so easy and sweet with female friends and vice versa. In some cases, this is because of some secret interest. There may be some unexpressed feelings towards the opposite, and it could just be pure. Which do you think it is? Women keep men in the friend zone to get validation. That may seem weird, but at least the clip suggests that. Just watch.
And there's a safety in a male friendship that we can't find in female friendships because it's very difficult to find women that are totally not threatened by you in any way, shape or form. The other thing is, I just think if you are a woman or a man of value, isn't it natural that men, women, old, young, everybody's going to gravitate towards you and want to...
You can see what she thinks about it. Sadly, for her, it's more about herself than the other person. But guess what? She's not the only lady who thinks this way. Many are only with men they believe they can get something from. Isn't it just easier getting all the accolades and adoration from a guy who may not be too bold to tell you about your flaws, since he wants to keep the friendship going? Which indicates there are people of no value, which shows how shallow and flawed this is. There is some emotional maturity and psychological resilience lacking here. The being with someone that secretly loves you versus someone that secretly hates you. Why does either have to be the only option? Dean's observations are so accurate. The logic is flawed and centers around one person in the friendship. It's a selfish way of thinking about friendship. Women have male friends because it boosts their ego. They are lying when they say otherwise. This comment may be a little harsh, but the clip you watched just a few minutes back proves it. To want a friendship to polish your image is to want it so you can feel better about yourself. Now, you would think it was a guy who said that, but it isn't. It may shock you to know what some guys feel about it.
If we're talking or dating, you cannot have guy friends. And let me tell you why. Because that friend you think is your friend either failed to get with you or he is trying to get with you.
Well, you may argue that not all guys genuinely look at it this way, and some even say thinking this way is toxic, but it's something worth considering. If you're a guy, think about what it would mean for your partner to have a male bestie other than you. I bet some wouldn't take it. Some ladies think it's all good and have no hidden motive, but Charlize Negron believes otherwise. I used to think this was toxic until all my guy friends tried to hit me when I was single. They'd just be waiting. So it's true, and most guys do like the ladies they call their friends, besties, or whatnot. But still, there are those who could enter or have such friendships with all the right purpose in mind, and some didn't even really plan it themselves. My very best friend in the world is a guy. Over 30 years, and he's married to one of my best girlfriends. I set them up. What if you grew up with them since you were in kindergarten and they are like brothers? I completely agree. The majority of my friends are committed men. I value their straightforward approach to life, honesty, and different perspectives. Not every interaction between genders has to be sexually charged. Funny thing about these observations, they are all true. Many people didn't get to choose who became their best friends. and who didn't. Some grew up in homes or environments where they interacted with more children of a gender different from theirs. You've probably even heard of or know people who had it this way, and for those people, it could be more natural for the friendship to exist with no other motive than just being friends. One more thing, many people do not understand and even use the term friend wrongly. It's better to call themselves other things like colleagues, work partners, neighbors, or acquaintances. When a woman calls a guy her friend, that still leaves the door open for them to try to slide in when there's an opening. This has happened a lot of times because that is what most men who are secretly in love with their friends think. But calling them acquaintances just shuts the door. Also, women need to think about what is best for the man and let them go, even if they see them as a friend. This should especially happen when they know the man is in love with them. They just have to put their ego aside and do what is best for him and the friendship they shared. Plus, as Beata mentioned, not all friendship with someone of the opposite gender is sexually driven, and we should try to encourage more platonic friendships. But just be careful when you decide to have a friend of the opposite gender. Make sure it's someone you can trust, someone who wouldn't manipulate or play any tricks with you. We don't want to see people end up with bad friends. Do you have or know anyone who has had a best friend of the opposite gender for a long while? Feel free to comment on your experience or that experience, and let's share it with the community.